I'm your host, Rob Carbone. This is BD4.
Barrett, some shake and bake, catch a three. Chance of life in the crowd with Barrett. Oh, hang on to the roof. Goodbye. Anthony for three. That one goes down. Gotta put four fingers up when Torres comes to the plate. The wall. See ya.
Sunday fun day. You know, I had to wear it. This team is so fucking fun to watch right now. Like, I know this is what everybody's been saying, but really, if anybody were to tell you back in, December before the season began, did you think the Knicks would be one game over 500, 35 games into the season? You would have said no. I would have said no. He would have said no. The guy left of him would have said no. The guy right of him would have said no. The guy behind him would have said no. The guy in front of him, diagonal to him, everybody would have said no. Everybody would have laughed. Yet here we are. We are 35 games into the season, and the New York Knicks, for the first time in 8 years, are one game above 500, 35 games in. Crazy, man. Crazy. Really crazy. It's so crazy. Yesterday's win. Okay, and as I am recording, it is a Sunday night, February 28th. Wow. But on the 27th, the first of the back-to-back, when we were hosting the Pacers, after that win, I think on 33rd and 8th in New York City, there were Knicks fans going fucking nuts in the streets. There was a video that was trending on Twitter. Knicks fans were going nuts. And you would have thought it was, you know what it reminded me of? I'm a big Yankees fan. Obviously, I go to a lot of these Yankees playoff games. It reminded me of exactly what we do in the Bronx after the Yankees win a big playoff game. We go nuts in the street, and we just have basically like a fucking party in the streets of New York City. And that's what it looked like yesterday when I saw the video of Knicks fans just going buck wild. And guys, that's just for a 17-17 team at the time. 500. If we're doing that over a mediocre fucking as hell 500 record, just imagine what New York City would be if the Knicks became great and they kept taking these steps in the right direction. I mean, there's nothing like this New York Knicks fan base. Not just in basketball, but in sports. And people say this all the time. I say a lot of cliches, I get it. But the ones I say are really true. People always say it. They say New York City is at its greatest when the Knicks are good. When the Knicks are good, New York is wild. You could ask anybody from the 90s, they will tell you that. Anybody from the 70s when they won the championships, they will tell you that. So I am praying that this maintains throughout the entire season and we can keep building off of this hot start. It's not even this, it's 35 games. We're halfway through just about. So it's not even a hot start anymore. Teams have to start respecting the Knicks. Guys, we're 4th in the Eastern Conference. We are 4th place in the Eastern Conference. It's fucking fun. We're having a great time. I've never had this much fun as a Knicks fan. Never. Not since I remember, which was 2013. But that was an old team full of vets, and this looks promising. This looks really freaking promising. And if we can find a way, I hate to jump in advance here, but if we can find a way to maintain this success, I know we have a tough second half schedule. But if we can find a way to sneak into the playoffs, whether that be the 4th seed, the fucking 10th seed on the play-in game, I don't care. If we can find a way just to get in, this season's already a success. But that would be so, oh man, could you imagine? And, you're hoping if things keep going well in terms of coronavirus and everything, that we'd have even more fans inside the Garden. We have 2,000 right now. But could you imagine if the Knicks end up making the playoffs, please knock on wood, and we can get somewhat of a full crowd there, somewhat, close to that. Oh my gosh. The last playoff game I went to with the Knicks was in 2013. It was Knicks-Boston. Carmelo dropped 35. It was the most fun I've had at any sporting event ever. Rivaling. So I'll say rivaling the Yankees when they're in the playoffs because, that's up there, especially the old Yankee stadiums. So but I'm telling you, man, when the Knicks are good, I've heard some really crazy things. And we're seeing some shit. And we're 500, and we had fans just going nuts. What's going on, everybody? I am your host, RJ Carbone, and this is episode 217 of the podcast. I hope everybody's doing well. Again, it is a Sunday night after the Knicks' latest victory over the Pistons as I speak. Technically, it's March 1st because I'm doing this past midnight, but, so as you're listening to this, it will be March 1st on a Monday as well, the earliest. But yeah, I'll try to get this out as soon as I can. Yeah, it's looking really fun. Excuse me. Yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. And welcome to the podcast. If you're new here, my name is RJ Carbone. This is BD4, just a podcast where I talk Yanks, I talk Knicks. And, we've been doing it for about a bit over a year, almost 2 years, actually. Wow. Right? Yeah, it's going to be 2 years in the summer. Holy shit. So, if you're new and you haven't subscribed to the podcast, this podcast, BD4, be sure to do that right now. You can subscribe to the podcast, also subscribe to my blog called It's My Opinion. You can follow me on social media. All that information is on my website. It's all on my Linktree, so you guys know what Linktree is. Just go to my Linktree, linktr/RJ Carbone, and that'll have all my information for you. Where to subscribe to the podcast. BD4 is an Apple Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, Anchor. You can watch us on YouTube if you're not doing that right now. Wherever you get your podcasts. And yeah, just go to Linktree. Once again, my Linktree is linktr/RJ Carbone. My social media is on there, my blog, and along with the blog is this podcast. Where to subscribe to it and all the outlets for it. The many different feeds. Oh man. So, to backtrack, earlier today, obviously the Yankees, so fun, so excited. First game of the spring, so their first spring training game. Very excited to start talking Yanks again in the blog. And once the regular season starts, we will go as usual, where we'll continue doing the nightly recaps in the blog, but we'll also post podcasts every series. Obviously, the Knicks and Yankees always have those, we always get that overlap, towards the end of the hoop season and the beginning of baseball season, we get that little bit of an overlap, but we make it work. Sometimes we'll do a collab. Other times we'll just do separate episodes. But, yeah, they got started earlier today. Lost to Toronto. But it was cool. It was fun to just see them back out there, man. Wearing the pinstripes, which they usually do. The first game of the spring, then they go back to their normal spring training uniforms, the navy blue. Yeah, it was just awesome to see them play baseball again, to see Judge at the plate, to see Gleyber Torres, DJ LeMahieu, Luke Voigt got some at-bats, Gary Sanchez DH'd, Clint Frazier who's set to be getting the left field spot this season. Miggy Andujar, fighting for a roster spot. Sad how far he's fallen. Robinson Chirinos, forgot they had him. Got some at-bats today, played catcher. Michael King pitched. Was pretty much who he's been so far as a Yankee. Not the highest on him. It's just, I don't know. I hope he doesn't win that 5th spot because that means we've got problems. But I'm wishing him the best of luck. But he struggled today with the control. Adam Morton pitched today, his first game back with the Yankees. He had a stint earlier in his career. Same with Nick Goody. I don't know if anyone remembers him. He's back. So yeah, we saw a lot of familiar faces, returning guys, yada yada. But the Yanks lost. Whatever. I'm just happy it's back. Tomorrow afternoon. As you're listening to this afternoon, 1 o'clock, they play the Blue Jays again. Or no, it's probably a different team, but they play at 1 o'clock. Kay was in the booth. Cone was doing the game too. Or I think they're in different spots, obviously, with COVID. But yeah, Cone was saying some pretty interesting things, and they were talking about having a crowd back. But he actually made a really good point. Usually, I'm not the biggest fan of Cone in the booth, just because he's with the analytics and shit. It's kind of frustrating to listen to. But he was talking about how. Trying to get my chair to snap in place here. But Cone was talking about how fucking, there wasn't a crowd last year, obviously. This year there is a crowd, but to start off, it's a small crowd. And with a small crowd, with noise, you can still hear, because it's not too much people, you can still hear that one heckler. It's much easier to hear a heckler, and it comes out much clearer now in the smaller crowd. I thought that was very interesting, right? It's crazy. People aren't afraid to heckle when there's a big crowd of 30,000+. I wonder how that's going to be. I wonder if we're going to get those jeers from fans now, knowing that it's going to be pretty easy to hear. It got me thinking, huh? But yeah, that was a good point that Cone brought up. I don't have anything else to add. I don't know if anybody else saw that the UFC. Anybody else watch the MMA fights this weekend? I saw some of the prelims, but I was watching the Knicks, so I didn't get to see the main event. But I heard the main fight, the main event between Gaines and Rosenstruck. People were telling me that was a really bad fight. It was just boring. Nobody was hitting each other. They were afraid to get hit. And it was pretty dull. So I guess I'm happy I didn't miss much. But yeah, I'm really, really excited for this upcoming card next Saturday with fucking Adesanya coming back. That guy's exciting to watch. He's fun. He's cocky. He's hilarious. He's fucking good. He's great. He's one of the greater fighters in the game right now. He's so exciting. So I'm excited to see that. But I am just excited right now. Sports are going well for me. The Yanks are back. The Knicks look like a competent franchise at the moment. Please pray and knock on wood. So we're going to get to the Knicks. We'll talk about everything as soon as we get back from our first break here on BD4. Be right back.
So really quick before we get back into the show, I do want to remind you that if you haven't yet subscribed to this podcast or subscribed to my blog or followed me on social media even, you can do all that by going to my link tree. Just go to linktr.ee/RJ Carbone. That is linktr.ee/RJ Carbone. Guys, thanks so much. Let's get back to the show.
Yeah, man, it's looking really fun. So we go back to, let's see, Saturday, right? Yeah. We go back to Saturday. The Knicks take on the Indiana Pacers at home. Right, the third game with the crowd this year. And the Knicks really do a fun job in a very thrilling victory. Just a fantastically played game. Right? You had everything working. Really, it was just... So the Knicks take the victory. The Knicks take the 110-107 victory. This is the 34th game of the year. Led by, once again, Julius Randle, 28 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, and just some fantastic... It was the eye test defensively. Just remarkable, sensational defense on fellow All-Star Domantas Sabonis. And you could tell Julius took that game personally. He was fantastic defensively. He took it personally. He was shutting down fake All-Star reserve Sabonis, who I fucking hate, by the way. That guy's a whiny bitch who bitches and moans to his teammates. I don't like that. I just don't like the guy. But Julius, 28, 10, 6, 4 steals. RJ Barrett, great game. And expected. He's the Reggie Miller of the Knicks when the Knicks play the Pacers. He goes for 24 points, 7 rebounds, 4 for 6 3-point shooting, and a team-leading plus 14 in the box. Derrick Rose, double-double, 17, 11 assists, 4 steals. What can I say? He's been great since filling in as the starter. IQ, again, this is on Saturday night. Emmanuel Quickley against the Pacers. Emmanuel Quickley, 10 points on 3 for 4 3-point shooting. Reggie Bullock, 3 for 3 3-point shooting, 9 points. Reggie was actually 3 for 3 tonight as well. He had 2 games in a row? I think he was. I might be wrong. I have to check. I'm pretty sure he was. Great game. Knicks as a whole, 49% from the field, 50% from 3-point distance, 82% from the free throw stripe. They attempted 24 threes, attempted 22 free throw attempts. They out-rebounded beat the Pacers on the glass by 9 or 8, 52-44. And they had 12 steals versus 5 steals. Knicks versus Pacers there. So, Knicks had them all across, There was no Brogdon. No Malcolm Brogdon for No Malcolm Brogdon for Indiana. I think T.J. McConnell got the start. T.J. McConnell, and obviously for the Knicks, still no Mitch. He's going to be out a while, and still no Alfred. But it was an abysmal start. It actually didn't start out very pretty. The Knicks were very sluggish on both ends, not really boxing out. RJ leaving his man wide open a number of times from 3, just playing so far off his guy. Late on his closeouts. Reggie Bullock didn't even look good defensively. That's supposed to be his thing. He was getting cooked by fucking the former Knick, Dougie McBuckets. Doug McDermott, just destroying him. 8 points in the first quarter of his 20 on the game. Just torching Bullock. On the other side, the Knicks were just not swinging the ball around. Taj Gibson gets hurt. The second unit wasn't hot yet. Just on the verge of a blowout. It really didn't look pretty. Pacers were hitting everything. They were taking advantage of the Knicks, and they had the 46-30 lead about midway through the second quarter. Okay, so 16-point deficit for the Knicks to crawl back from. But then you get, the angry Tibbs timeout, and here we go. The Knicks just get ridiculously hot, and they go on an incredible 24-6 run to end the first half. RJ hits a pair of 3-pointers towards the end of the period. Randle gets a dunk on a give and go. D Rose hits a 30-foot pull-up at the buzzer to put the Knicks up 54-52, entering intermission. Third quarter comes, and much like the first quarter, Knicks, they're slow out of the gate. RJ and especially Julius didn't really look aggressive. Julius was very passive, not looking to score. Passed up an open shot, not really looking at the rim sometimes. Didn't look like they were ready. Indiana, on the other hand, took advantage of that stagnant, slow offense at the time, and they were playing fast. They were getting all these long rebounds. They were running the break, and the Knicks had trouble stopping them. Towards the end of the third, the Knicks kind of find it. They go on a 17-10 moderate run to wrap up the period, and Rose, Randle, and RJ combined to score those 17 points. Fourth quarter comes, and that's just where the Knicks just get clutch, right? You have RJ leading the Knicks on that 11-0 run. Scores the first 6 points of that run, with the 3-ball, then gets the N1 in traffic where he converts, brings the Knicks down from down 5, all the way down to 1 at the time, or up 1 after those couple of baskets he hit. Then he kicks one to Randle for 3. Randle hits that 3. Then RJ hits a tough layup again in traffic. This puts the Knicks up 102-98. Pacers make a bit of a comeback. We get a classic Knicks collapse, is what it looks like at the time, giving every fan a fucking stroke. Sabonis hits that 3 off the glass from center arc. Then RJ misses those 2 crucial free throws to give the Pacers the ball back. Down 2 points with under 15 seconds left. Pacers have a chance to at least tie it because of RJ, and that's a cardinal sin. You cannot do that. Can't miss 2 free throws in a game tying possession in a game deciding possession like that. Very, very unfortunate it happened, but he kind of got bailed out there. Some incredible defense. Rose forces the turnover, but Frank tracks the ball down, grabs it, picks up the steal. He runs the break. Could have slammed it down. Some people were questioning why didn't he throw one down there. But he's trying to milk the clock, and I think he did the smarter decision here. Killed time off the clock, got hacked, and he sealed the deal with the pair of free throws. So RJ's 2 missed free throws did not come back to hurt him, and the Knicks pick up the victory. Just a brilliant performance for the Bakers. Frank again, just playing good. He knew his role, and that's what he does. He knows his role and he executes it. And came in the game for defensively and did an exceptional job. Just a great game. Randle, fantastic defensively. 1 sec here, just trying to pull up my notes. 1 second. Okay, here we are. Yeah, like I said, Randle was fantastic defensively that game. Just like I said, he took it personal against Sabonis and just really shut him down. He shut Sabonis down. Sabonis is a guy who averages, 22, 12, and 6, similar numbers to Randle on the year, but he only had 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. Randle locked him down, and, he's become such a leader, and we're going to get to him after we talk about, the second game of this episode. So I really liked a lot of things about that game. I did. Thought the Knicks played really good basketball. The only thing I didn't love is again... I'm sorry. This was the game where Reggie wasn't 3 for 3. Okay. So I had on my notes he was 3 for 3. He was 3 for 3 tonight. Yeah. This was a game where Reggie was pretty useless, actually. And that's going to get to what I want to say, how fucking I didn't love how, he was just another poor outing from him offensively. And again, defensively getting torched by McDermott. You can't get torched by fucking Doug McDermott. And he still got 27 minutes, which was more than both Quickly and Frank Ntilikina combined, who were both really playing well that game. 3 more minutes than those two combined, despite playing really bad and then playing really good. I thought that was very unacceptable. And he checked in the fourth quarter before RJ came back in, who, again, was the second best on the team last night. It's just weird, man. I didn't love it. But, all in all, Tibbs has been great. He's turned these guys around to become more of a winning product, and the Knicks got another win. So they get back to 500 on the year with that win against the Pacers. And so then we get to this game. This was a blowout. It became a blowout here against the Pistons tonight on Sunday night. Game 35 of the year. Knicks, it looked like it would have been a trap game. It looked like it was really going to be a trap game. I think a lot of people were expecting the Knicks to lose this one. I wasn't expecting them I wasn't expecting a fucking 20-point blowout, whatever it was, 19-point blowout. But here we are. It was Knicks traveling from New York to Detroit, Michigan for a back-to-back after a whole number of guys played over 35 minutes. Noel, 40 minutes. Randle, 40 minutes. Rose, just shy of 40 minutes. Not many fresh legs. Short at the center position with Taj still down. Rose, I was expecting, a more lackadaisical, gassed Knicks team. But here we fucking were. The Knicks came out and they did their job. They got another victory and another big one. Now they're 18-17. 6-2 without Mitchell Robinson. That just goes to show guys are stepping up, and Noel has been tremendous. 40 more minutes tonight. Just doing an exceptional job without Mitch. 8 points, 11 boards tonight, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. He was just outstanding. Did an astounding job both at the rim and in the lane tonight. Just stifling defense. Stifling? Yeah. Julius, though, led the team again in points. 25 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, a block, and leading with a plus 21. And again, great defense. This guy's impact on winning is so fucking... The turnaround, man. And we're going to get to him a little more in a bit. RJ Barrett, another good night. Another 20-plus point night. He had 21, 8 for 13 shooting, 2 for 4 from three-point distance, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Also, a steal and a block. Rose, solid. 14 points, 5 assists, 2 for 3 from three-point distance. Has been shooting the 3 well since becoming a Knick. Manuel quickly. Hot once again. Goes for 12 points in 16 minutes. 16 minutes. Burks, pick it up where he left off the other night. Started out hot. Helped put the game away at the top of the fourth quarter. 16 points, 7 for 13, hits a couple of threes. Another good night for him. Knicks as a unit, 51% from the floor, 50% from 3 again, and 80% at the line. 7 blocks, and an impressive 23 assists versus 12 total turnovers. Again, though, this one started out very ugly. That first half, but it was both teams. The Pistons couldn't hit a shot if their lives depended on it. They couldn't, throw a beach ball into the ocean. I mean, they were off, and we kind of got lucky how bad they were. But, for the Knicks, they were up 48-37 at half. And you could think timely three-point shooting and exceptional defense, again, from Noel to kind of keep them afloat in that first half. But they were even off 37% in the first half. And then they finished 51 because, there was a point in the second half where Breen was reading a stat. The Knicks were 80% at one point in the second half. But yeah, third quarter comes and the Knicks get hot. They drop 35 points, 19 from RJ and Julius combined. Barrett gets a smooth pull-up J to put the Knicks up 19 points with like 3 minutes and 20-something left. Then RJ lobs one to Noel to give the Knicks the largest lead with about 2.5 left, up 23. Fourth quarter comes and the Knicks just kind of put the icing on the cake. Burks hits a few shots at the top of the quarter, quickly gets hot doing his microwave shit, hitting threes, got a couple floaters to go in, and they pick up the victory. But again, I take this game, it's just another really good all-around team win. Everybody's playing so well. So happy that everybody's playing so well. This team has so much cohesiveness right now. They have great chemistry. They like each other. They're having fun. And I'm just really fucking impressed. RJ Barrett is so impressive right now, man. He's had a consistent season. But it's like whenever he goes through these like 3-game slumps. 3 games. It's serious. That's all it is sometimes. Any ordinary rough patch that anybody else would go on, fans get so reactionary. Oh, he's been so inconsistent. Oh, the Knicks need a true number 2 option. Oh, he should be sent to Westchester. I saw that on Twitter. He should be sent to the G League. Oh, he's a bust. We see that shit. Every time he has like a couple of bad games, it's like this dude can never have an off night. But you look at his game log, you watch this team, he's been consistent for the Knicks. He's been pretty consistent. Very consistent in my opinion, especially from 3-point distance. He's got his 3-point percentage, guys, up to 35%. 35. That's normal, you know? That's no longer pathetic. Remember that stretch earlier in the year? What, he missed 19 or 21 in a row or something like that? He was down to 18%. He's got it up to 35% because he's shooting just under 50% from 3 in his last 23 games. I mean, he looks so comfortable. It's the same spots, too. Right? In the corner, kind of near the wing 3. That's where he's been getting them to fall. The catch and shoot threes near the corner, and he's hitting every one of them. He's so comfortable. He looks so cozy in that pocket. He's really doing a nice job from the corner on the catch and shoot. And his chemistry this year with Julius, man. Last year they were very clunky together. They didn't fit. It didn't work. But because both of them have taken major steps, the chemistry, they look so smooth together. It's crazy. What's it called? His field goal percentage, RJ Barrett, is also at 44% on the year. So that's respectable at least as well. You're starting to see the product being more polished as we go along here. I fucking love it. And it's really his patience, I think, that I'm most impressed with. He's not rushing. You can see not just how comfortable he is off the ball catching and shooting, but when he has the ball in his hands and he's just using the pick and roll, he utilizes those screens so well. Right? He has so much patience. He will wait until the defender catches up, then he'll go. He will barrel his way to the hoop, and then he'll throw up some tough shots. He's making all these runners right now, just converting on these tough shots in traffic. Left-handed layups. He's made some right-handed shots at the rim lately. Some and ones. He's doing a really, really good job mixing it up. He's obviously a great player in transition. We know that. Really good. Really good. So RJ has been fantastic. And this Knicks team on this 3-game win streak has looked so good. And the common denominator, I think for the first time tonight, it's taken me about 32 and a half minutes to finally mention Elfrid Payton's name. Give me credit. But yeah, that's the common denominator here. I'm sorry, I'm not to keep hating on the guy. I'm sure he's a nice dude, blah, blah, blah. But I would much rather have Elfrid Payton in street clothes, clapping his hands, letting the real talent do the work, as opposed to him being the one starting every night. Because the addition of Derrick Rose has not only been great on his part, but it's helped Emmanuel quickly expand his game. RJ Barrett, and he's got good chemistry. Rose does with Taj Noel, and his pick and pop game with Julius Randle is so fucking smooth. He is so comfortable, Randle, in that pick and pop in the mid-range area. So comfortable. So the addition of Rose just has the Knicks playing so much smoother. The ball is moving. They're playing at a high tempo pace. The spacing has helped them. I never want to see Elfrid Payton play another minute for this team again. And his sympathizers, which represent what, like 0.1% of the Knicks fan base, are scraping at the bottom of the barrel here if they were to make any more excuses. I don't know what you could say at this point. There's nothing else to say on that. It needs to be the way it is right now. He's helping everybody play really good, And what else is there to say about IQ? The guy's been so good. Obviously, you want him to get more minutes. He keeps playing well, and he keeps getting these, abruptly shortened games. Like he just gets pulled late in the game. 2 games in a row now, maybe 3. He plays really good in the 4th, and he gets pulled. Last 3 nights, 25 points. 3 games ago, he had 25 points, just 20 minutes. Saturday, 10 points in 13 minutes. Tonight, 12 points in 16 minutes. Why? I know he's a microwave scorer, but he can get a little more than, minutes in the teens. Can we have this guy play 25 to 30 just a couple of nights in a row and see what's up? You know, especially like I said, with Rose getting a heavy workload lately, wouldn't hurt to shave a couple off of him. Bullock being the up and down guy he is. Burks a bit inconsistent too. There are windows where you could really, really give Emmanuel Quickly some run. Especially considering you have RJ Barrett, who's capable of playing the 3, and I think he is a 3. You know, he's a wing. He's a wing. He's a tweener. He can play the 2 or the 3. There is no excuse to have Emmanuel Quickly not get 25 plus minutes. Especially with how well he's been playing. Guy didn't have a field goal tonight until the fourth quarter. Still finished with 12 points. Just so good. Frank is finally back in the rotation. Tonight he was piss poor on offense. He didn't do shit. It's kind of sucky against a really bad Pistons squad how he did nothing. But it's still nice to see him get some minutes in the rotation. He's not getting a lot of time right now, but I really want him to be part of this rotation. Listen, I'm not part of Frank's cult. I know he's got that cult-like following. People think he's going to be the next Tony Parker, right? I'm not that guy, okay? I once was. When he first got drafted, I was giving him all types of high praise and comps. But I'm not going to call him a bust and say he's completely useless. I still think there is a spot for Frank Ntilikina to be a rotation regular. You know, when you look at the way he plays, it's funny because I'm about to use a term that I was just calling overused earlier on Twitter today. The whole Swiss Army knife thing. I think that's very often overused to cop out mediocre players and just throw that term at them. But I really think Frank Ntilikina could be a Swiss Army knife type of guy. He obviously plays defense, right? That's why he gets any minutes at all right now, because he's playing amazing defense, and he's the Knicks' best defender on the wing, at least. Great on-ball defender, great off the ball, provides so much intangibles, makes winning plays defensively. And you look at the offensive end, he doesn't do much, but the shot isn't broken, right? The shot doesn't look broken. It's a fluid motion, and he has improved his three-point shooting this season. He's shooting a decent percentage this year. So if he can eventually keep that consistency offensively, doesn't have to be a guy who scores you a ton of points, but just hit the timely shots and play the defense that he's playing. Why can't he be a rotational, 3-and-D wing? I'm not saying he's going to be anything special. Come off the bench, give you 7 to 10 points a night. That's easily done by hitting a pair of threes and a free throw or two. And play the defense he's doing. Let's just see. I would keep giving him minutes. I would say, because what's the hurt, right? Why would you want to put Elfrid Payton out there along with IQ and Rose when he gets back? Why wouldn't you just want to go IQ, Rose, and Frank? Frank is 20-something-year-old kid who, there's something there, right? Will he get it is a different question, but there is a ceiling there. With Elfrid, he's already hit his ceiling. We know who he is. He's been the same player his entire career. Everybody knows, if you do your homework, he's the player he is and he's never going to change. It's not like he's some guy who is supposed to be, he is who he is. I would keep doing what we're doing here. I would keep doing what we're doing. And he's playing the 2 right now, and I like that. So I think he's we'll see though, because I really don't know. You can look at it and say that the Knicks are really low on him, and the only reason he's playing is because EP is not. So maybe he does get traded at the deadline, and this is all for nothing. But I don't know, man. Maybe he can bounce back tomorrow night and have a good game, like he did the 2 games previous, and changes the organization's mind. Who fucking knows? I don't know, man. I'm for it. I root for my players. Especially the youth. Randle has been fantastic of lately. Tonight he surpassed he actually surpassed his 3-point total. He has more. He now has more 3-pointers made this year than he did all of last year. 35 games in, he has more threes than he made across all 66 games last year. He's made 66 3-pointers this year versus the 64 he made all of last season. Fucking remarkable. You know, Breen was saying something on the broadcast tonight, fucking about how Kobe Bryant, back when Randle was playing for the Lakers, and you know, maybe his rookie year, Kobe Bryant said how Randle is a Lamar Odom in Zach Randolph's body, and I fucking love that. It's the first time I heard that. I've heard the Zach Randolph comparison before, but I've never heard from the exact Kobe quote saying he is Zach Randolph, or he is Lamar Odom in Zach Randolph's body. I love that. I can definitely see that. Yeah. I just thought that was really, really cool. Great comparison. And there's an article about it too. Apparently. But he's been fantastic, man. He's making less. I think I saw something, he's making $10 million less than KP is. Hey, the Mavs got to start losing again. KP needs to get back and continue to give up points in the defensive end and really look bad so we can get that lottery pick from them. They have to start tanking again. It's crazy, though. We are usually looking at tankathon.com right now, Knicks fans. 35 games in, we're looking at tankathon.com. Now we're looking at the fucking NBA standings. The normal standings, not the tankings. It's crazy, dude. But, you know, we are so fortunate that Randle is under contract until next year. So we don't have to make this whole decision right now. But I do want to talk a bit about, you know, his future. Just a bit. Not too much when we get back. BRB. Yeah, do we throw him the max, right? Do we throw Julius Randle the max contract eventually? So he's obviously under contract this year. And the next season we have to decide. After the season, we have to decide this winter or this summer, are we going to pick up the option? And probably, you know, let's be real, we likely are, right? And we're going to keep, I'm thinking, you know, the Knicks are going to keep him at the deadline, right? Leon Rose is probably not going to do anything here in terms of moving Julius. All right, so considering they keep him at the deadline, and if he finishes the year doing the same thing he's doing right now, playing winning basketball, and the Knicks pick up the option as they're expected to, and Julius continues doing the same thing next year, or something similar, then, you know, it's, do you extend him? At some point next season, do you throw him the max? Right? What is the max? I don't know, maybe $90 million across 3 years. That's like a 30 annual value. Maybe it's, you know, maybe you ask him to shave a bit off the top, or maybe you have to go longer, a little less AAV. You know, 4 years, 110. That's like 27 and a half. You know, something like that. Listen, man, listen. I was totally against the guy last year. I wanted him fucking traded. So I don't have much legs to stand on. But I have to say, the way he's played, and again, considering he keeps it up this year and he keeps it up to start the season next year, but the way he's played, he's fucking putting up numbers that only Larry Bird has done. Do you understand that? He's putting up numbers that nobody else in NBA history has done except Larry Bird for one season. 20-10-5 on 40% three-point. And his slash is almost 50-40-80. It's like 49-40-80. Crazy. Crazy. So, I'm going to say it. I think you have to. I think the Knicks have to. I think you have to throw him the bag. And listen, you're going to throw him the bag at age 27. So you give him to that, what? You get him for fucking, say, 3 or 4 years. You have him from age 27 to age 30 tops. That's fucking fine. That's an NBA player's absolute peak right there. That's their peak. That's when you want to throw somebody the bag. South of 30 years old. Late 20s. That's when they're going to get their best production. That's when they are going to give you their best. You know, so a lot of people may not want to go over that 25 million mark annually. But if you look at it this way, you look at the free agent classes coming up, not just this offseason, but next offseason too, it's not much. It's pretty shallow. Outside of Kawhi, who's probably going to end up either staying there or going to somewhere in LA, Lakers. Who knows? But I don't think he's coming to New York. I don't think anybody thinks that. So it's a pretty quiet free agent class this offseason and next offseason, I think. When Randle hits the market, if Randle hits the market, if you don't throw him that extension and Randle's hitting the market, GMs are going to offer him the max. There are going to be at least one or two GMs. All it takes is one to throw him that max contract. Okay, so whether or not you think he's worth it right now, there's going to be a GM who throws him that. So the Knicks are in a position to where they can't really ask themselves, or they can't really think about too much whether or not he's going to be worth it. They have to think about whether or not he's worth losing, right? What is your plan if you lose Randle? Just if they lose Randle being cheap, put that in quotations, it's scary. You have to also think about that. And again, I think there are GMs who will throw him the max. And I really don't think it's that crazy. The guy is putting up Larry Bird numbers. If Drummond's getting the amount of money he is, if Kevin Love is making that much, if fucking Tim Hardaway Jr. got a ridiculous contract, I know it was Steve Mills, but they're fucking Gordon Hayward, $30 million a year from Charlotte right now. I mean, it only takes one GM to make an enticing offer. So if those guys are making that bank, why the fuck not for Randle? There are going to be offers out there that blow him off the table. So the Knicks, I think they are forced to give him the max. They're going to be forced. And you know what? Honestly, I if it's 35 to fucking 40 million, it's going to be a lot. It's going to hurt. It's going to sting. It's going to be all of that. But I think you consider it, what he's doing. Again, 23, 12, and 6, whatever it is, on 50, 40, 80 splits. He's learned defense. He's brought the Knicks from a 20-win laughingstock to a goddamn playoff contender. Currently the 4th fucking seed. I think you have to, if he keeps this up, have to throw the guy the fucking max. Just think about it. All right. But again, we are fortunate to where we are not in this position at the moment. We can at least keep going the way we are and just talk about how lovely this season has been for the Knicks. Right? We don't have to be there yet. We don't have to jump too far ahead. I just always like playing that game. But the New York Knicks, man, they're playing excellent basketball. Again, Tom Thibodeau has them playing extremely hard on the defensive end. And lately, without you-know-who, the Knicks are playing really good offensively. And that's been their biggest weakness this season, has been their offense when you-know-who is on the floor. But without you-know-who, you've got the Knicks playing modern basketball. We're seeing an NBA offense. They are running a credible modern NBA offense right now. The ball is swinging. Threes are shooting. We're having these 50% games from the floor from 3-point distance. We're hitting free throws. We're playing defense. The pace is that we're getting so many more possessions in because we have guys who run fast, play fast. There's no, Peyton's a half-court point guard who can't shoot. What use is that? Rose plays fast, quickly shoots threes. Rose, excellent slasher, forces the defense to crash. And he'll finish it with an acrobatic layup or he'll kick it out. And he's got a pretty credible mid-range jumper too. And again, he's shooting the three so far pretty well with the Knicks. These guys are doing really good the way they have it. I love this current rotation. These fucking games the last couple of nights. This rotation has been amazing. I love this team. Keep sleeping on the Knicks. Keep doing it. Go ahead. I was watching, I don't know if anybody knows. I'm sure everybody, this fucking guy is huge by now. CP, who runs Knicks Fan TV. He has his own, live stream. He's got tons of people listening after the game and calling in. I called in once last year. I tried to call on again this year, but he's gotten so big where it's impossible to get through. But this guy's incredible, and I'm sure everybody knows who he is. Whoever's listening probably knows. But some dude called in, And the guy was fucking saying how he was watching ESPN earlier this week. Watching ESPN, and it was Jay Williams. Is that his name? The bald dude. Yeah. I like it. I thought I don't know. I don't watch ESPN, but tune in here and there, and he's But fucking I don't watch ESPN for a reason, and this is why. The dude who called in was saying that ESPN's Jay Williams was talking about how the Knicks are playing really well, and despite Dennis Smith Jr. being in the G League, Austin Rivers is really contributing right now. And I thought that was the perfect epitome of big media. Dennis Smith Jr. is in fucking Detroit at the moment. We just played him. Austin Rivers hasn't contributed since fucking Lord knows how long. 2 games against Utah, which were long ago. But that just goes to show you. Big media like ESPN and all these big giant sport networks on TV, they don't know shit, man. They don't know shit. They don't do their homework. They follow popular narrative, and they go talk about the Nets because they're the only people who talk about the Nets. Let's be real. They don't have fans. They never talk about the Knicks. And the one time they do, you can tell that they don't know anything about the Knicks, talking about fucking Austin Rivers and Dennis Smith Jr. saying 2 false things about them. One of them is not even fucking here. The other guy has never even contributed in months, weeks. I just thought that was hilarious. He called in and said that, and I was not surprised. I was not surprised at all, because that's who ESPN is. And that's why I don't fucking watch ESPN. When I get my information about sports, I go to podcasts, I go to these live streams, I read articles, like fan-made, fans. Shit by the fans. I don't watch these journalists and the reporters on TV who know nothing but the popular shit and the behind the scenes. They don't know the behind the scenes in the Knicks. They don't know fucking anything. They just follow popular narrative, the LOL Knicks notion, and that's all they fucking run with. And so I thought that was hilarious. I don't follow that shit. No, I follow the shit I read and listen to is all fan driven. It's all fans, because fans are the ones who know. Knicks fans are the most passionate, knowledgeable fans around. They know what they're talking about, especially guys like Knicks Fan TV, CP. Those guys are fucking awesome. God, all these fucking podcasts and outlets and these blogs that I read and listen to, fans who are part of the 82 game club, guys who actually watch this team. That's where I get my information. That is where I watch and listen to the Knicks and stuff and read about them. Not ESPN. So I thought that was absolutely fucking hilarious how they were talking about Austin Rivers and Dennis Smith Jr. It was just like, oh yeah, typical ESPN. Don't do their homework. All right, so we're going to head to break, and when we get back, we might as well wrap this one up. We're about 53 minutes in, so let's get to the question of the day. But first, we're going to head to break one last time. BRB.
Hey fellas, so really quick before we get back into the show, I do want to remind you that if you haven't yet subscribed to this podcast, or subscribed to my blog, or followed me on social media even, you can do all that by going to my link tree. Just go to linktr.ee/rjcarbone. That is linktr.ee/rjcarbone. Guys, thanks so much. Let's get back to the show.
So, last time out in episode 216, our NYK question of the day. How many Knicks have their number retired? That was our question. How many Knicks have their number retired? The answer to that question is 9. 9 Knicks have their number retired. This episode, our NYK question of the day for 217, sponsored by Anchor. Drum roll, please. Let's get that game show music going again. Our NYK question of the day for this episode Emmanuel quickly has a shot to make the all-rookie first team. Who was the last Knick to reach that feat and when? Hint, it was not Mitchell Robinson because he made the second all-rookie team. But who was the last Knick to make the first all-rookie team and when? Alright, so message me the answer either on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Or you can comment the answer once I publish one of the promos and the link to this podcast episode. This is episode 217 of the podcast. I am your host, RJ Carbone. Hope you enjoyed this episode of BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate you tuning in, all two of you. And if you like this episode, if you're watching it on YouTube, I want to ask you, if you like this episode and you're watching it on YouTube, please give it a like so this can get out there more. I know we don't get shit, we don't get jack shit, and maybe we don't deserve to get any followers because we're really bad. This is not a good show. I don't think this is a very good podcast that I do, but hey, I'm going to ask you anyway, just please give it a like and subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't yet. And as for the other platforms, please subscribe to us on the other platforms yet if you like listening to us. So please, please, please do that for us. Thank you so much. And yeah, that's all we've got. I am your host. One last time, I'm your host, RJ Carbone, with episode 217 of BD4. I will see you in the blog, which should be out in a few hours. By the time you're listening to this, it'll be out in the morning, but as you're listening to this, it's at least Monday morning. So I'll see you in the Knicks blog, recapping game 35. And I'll also see you in the Yankees blog, recapping the afternoon game that they're about to play. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll see you then. All right, guys, ciao.
This podcast is sponsored by Anchor.